Today we're going to talk about the power system of Shadow Slave. Now I got a little chart here, that my head canon or like a kind of a way to explain this better. Obviously, this is my interpretation of like the power gaps and stuff. So I believe the power system is kind of like it's a little hard to keep up with. It's like kind of sprinkled here and there. So I kind of want to make a video like kind of explaining it to some people because I'm like, oh, they're fighting this beast. Why is this beast so strong? And then I looked at it and I'm like, oh shit, they're like they're not supposed to be doing this. So basically, you're every everyday person, dormant, you know, don't really have any abilities. You're just average. They can hone their like battle arts or like the certain styles with like the sword and stuff, but they're not gonna have any oomph to it. They can just focus on their technique at this point. So they can't exactly do anything. They can. I don't even think they can use memories. They can't use memories or echoes. So like it's just average. Now sleepers, people who woke up from the first nightmare, uh, they get an aspect ability and a flaw. Aspect abilities can be combat oriented or utility. It really depends. I believe it depends on like their first nightmare is like how they beat it in a certain way or whatever. I believe that gives you a certain pathway of like what ability and flaw you would have to have. For instance, I believe Sunny got the law of can't lying because he kind of won his nightmare through lying or deceiving people. So he had it to. So that's why the nightmare spell or whatever kind of took his ability or like made it harder for him to deceive people through his flaw. Now, flaws can also like influence people in a way like it could make them better and worse. It really depends. Now, I believe in Sony's case, it just made him a better person, just not being able to lie. It kind of sucks for like having like offer conversations and stuff, but through all, I think honestly, his flaw made him a better person throughout like the story. Anyways, that's off topic. I'm talking about the power system. So yeah, the aspect abilities is very unique. Uh, we have like a couple of examples. I'm not exactly sure like what type of altitudes they have towards like certain things. For instance, Sunny's shadow and Neff's like light or whatever. But I'm not too sure about like Cassie's stuff. Granted, I'm only on chapter like 1,300 something, so I don't exactly have the most up to date knowledge. But I'm pretty sure most things have like a certain primary element to them, except for like some things I can't exactly explain or like can't think of. Anyways, let me stop yapping. So these are like the classes: a dormant, sleeper, awakened, master, saint. They're like the classes. Now the ranks are like their soul cores. Now each person has like starts with like one soul core, and this for some nightmare creatures they start out with more. Like I believe some nightmare creatures like are some of them are like born with like four or more, from what I remember. So, but most humans start with like one, you know. Uh, Now the different abilities classes are always almost a bigger like power increase than soul cores. For instance, uh, classes can increase like your aspect abilities and give you more abilities like uh, damn, how do I explain this? Like passively, while it gives you okay, no, quantity. It gives you like a higher like quantity of your soul cores and stuff. Well, just having another soul core will help you. It'll give you like more of like a gap. So let's say, forget what I just fucking said. All right. So basically, it's like quality. So classes are like the quality of like said water. Like, let's say a sleeper has some like dirty, murky water or whatever, and Awaken has like clear water, and they can like process that water a bit more better than the sleepers can, or whatever. And masters get even better, like can control certain aspects of the water. It's kind of like essence. The way I'm explaining is like how they use essence. Essence, they can like control certain parts of like their muscle groups to enhance their attacks, while sleepers don't really have an idea of how to do this essence. They have like a rough estimate, whatever. Awaken can get a little bit more skillful with it, but it's like more broader stuff. While masters can have like kind of precise muscle groups and stuff. So basically, it's like more efficient way of your powers or whatever. So soul cores, you can like just keep saturating your cores, and you can just choose to make a new one, and it helps you. But then you have to like it resets it too, so it takes more to get to the next one. You have to challenge a nightmare spell to get more better like classes or whatever. But through soul cores, you don't exactly have to do that. You could just fight a bunch of nightmare creatures in the first nightmare if you wanted to, and just stack all of it and just be a fucking titan if you wanted to. But it's very inefficient and it takes a lot of time. So soul cores is more of the same shit, while classes that give you better quality and essence of the power. I think I explained that okay. But yeah, obviously, different soul cores, more soul cores are better. It's only up to 7 from what I understand, because there's like 7 gods, so like there's only 7 souls. I have a theory with that. It's like 7 gods and like 6 demons, and then Weaver was like, I'm gonna make this whole system. So I'm pretty sure Weaver made the nightmare spell, and that's why the power system it is what it is, because Weaver made it. It's a little confusing. I'm only on my first read through. I haven't got to read this like a couple more times to even understand it. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, yes, the soul essence control is really important for like masters. It helps them fight longer and more efficiently. So if I was an awakened, I couldn't exactly control it that good, and I'm like, Well, saints can just use it as like they breathe and like use it so naturally. Now, from my understanding, the power gap gets way, way better. Not better, but higher as you go on. So we have a nightmare creature that is a fallen devil or whatever, right? It's kind of strong. It's kind of strong. Wait, I don't know why. I don't know what I'm yapping about. Give me a second. I gotta think. Yeah, so basically humans can ascend into godhood, while nightmare creatures like kind of descend into like demons or like devil stuff. Unholy is the strongest, and then divine is like, I believe divines are just like the seven gods that are like in the whole story, right? We only have like three monarchs so far. Song and Valor, they're fighting because of like certain domains. I don't exactly understand domains. Not in a story where I understand domains, but they're saying like one really strong domain is better than two kind of average domains, and that's how they're trying to like kind of save the real world. So it's like, from my understanding, domains has like a impact on like your surroundings. It's kind of like a terror, right? Nightmare beasts get smarter as it goes on. Uh, a demon is smarter than a freaking monster or whatever, and then devils have like certain aspect abilities like humans have. Tyrants are like basically leaders of these lesser nightmare creatures, and the greater terrors are like they have impact on their surroundings. Titans are like normally they're like really huge, bulking like creatures or whatever. But there's some cases where Titans are like kind of like small, but they're powerful. They're really powerful because you can only get up to like 7 soul cores from what I understand. So they're like at that kind of peak of what they can do, other than just do more classes, you know. Yeah, from what I understand, soul cores is a really good boon to have. But classes affect more like your aspect abilities and your what is it called? Your soul seed. So it's more beneficial to go through classes, but it's safer to do soul cores. Now your soul seed usually shit. I don't know how to explain the soul seeds. Soul seeds is like basically where you see all your like memories and echoes. So basically there's like your average stats that like you just get a big buff whenever like you get another core or an essence, have better essence control and stuff like that, your classes. But memories and echoes, if you kill a certain nightmare creature, you have a chance to get a memory or one of their echoes. Now memories can drop can be a weapon, a charm, a armor type, a utility type. It can be whatever. Memories are like way better than normal mundane weapons. From Because it's like kind of in like a different realm, so it's like way stronger in like the dream realm, and then the dream realms is basically like the realms of the gods if you really think about it, and the earth is just kind of like, you know, it's earth, you know what I'm saying? So it's interesting, it's really interesting, it's interesting to think about. So my head canon of all of this is basically this, you know, could be wrong, could be right. It's what I think. An awaken is like that much more powerful than a sleeper, and a master is that much powerful than an awaken. Whenever you become a master, your aspect abilities usually evolve, because Sunny's aspect ability evolved into like Child of Shadows to like Lord of Shadows, and I forget what specific boons he got from that, but his ability was like way better from just becoming a master. Uh, I know that Kai and Effie's abilities skyrocketed too, because Effie's abilities can basically like give them troops like morale, and like it gives you a greater power just by like making her like looking at her in her sight. And it doesn't really that's a one big thing. Like as long as she's in the front line, every one of her soldiers or like people fighting us alongside of her, she's deemed as an ally, gets a tremendous power boost. Kai kind of has something similar, but it's more like a mind thing. It's more like fight, fight. You know, it has you gives you a stronger will to fight. You know, so they're both really good if they're like leaders and stuff. They're like kind of like generals in a way. What else? What else? Did I talk about battle arts yet? Yeah, you can. Certain battle arts you can't exactly master as a dormant human. You find your battle arts whenever you fight nightmare creatures and stuff. You can also like get different insights and like certain methods and different ways of like fighting it whenever you get a stronger core. I know Sony was thinking about teaching Rain like the shadow dance, but he was like, no, I really can't because you kind of have to be a stronger to understand or like even perform the shadow dance because the shadow dance is so like flexible and like you delve into your like the essence. It's just too adaptable and it's just too confusing for a normal human to like understand. So Rain's more with like just more like a solid thing. So he just taught her like the basic stuff like how Nephis taught him. He just taught her that way. Yeah, the reason why sleepers now you can get stronger as well without even like getting your base stats through memories and echoes. It's usually a rare chance of getting these through like fighting normal monsters and stuff. If you get like let's say a sleeper, basically a sleeper is equivalent to like I would say an awakened. And then it also depends on like how many soul cores the sleeper has compared to the awakened. If a sleeper fights like a fallen devil for instance, as long as the sleepers have like a group of a party and have been studying the creature and finding like certain ways they fight or whatever for a while, and they have certain plans and memories and okay memories, as long as they have the way of damaging it, they have a chance of fighting and beating the fallen devils. But it's just it's really rare to see that. That's why the Forgotten Shore people are like that much like Forgotten Shore sleepers are like that much more like up there than the regular sleepers because they took more risk and there was an unknown realm of the dream realm. They didn't know what's going on, so they just be fighting all the time, everything, you know. So there's certain strategies they can implement. It was more like it feels like in the Forgotten Shores they were like more intelligent out of the way, like they go into each fight, you know. One person being the bait, and the other person just kind of sneaky around, you know. That's kind of how Neff and Sunny fought. For the most part, they had to exchange the way to fight as soon as they get more members. But overall, more people, higher chance of living. You know, it makes sense. It makes sense. I think I explained it a bit. So yeah, the power gaps get wider and wider for classes and ranks. I would say, let's say as hypothetically, for what I interpret. So if a sleeper has 5 soul cores, but they're trying to fight an awakened with 3 soul cores, the awakened has a better chance of winning, like 8 out of 10. But if the sleeper has a weird aspect ability they don't quite understand, same with the awakened. If the awakened had like a certain aspect ability that's just kind of like kind of mid, it is not a combat oriented, while the sleepers aspect is a combat oriented, they still have a chance of winning. But the gap is way too big whenever a master fights, whenever the same scenario, when a master fights an awakened. It's just, they just can't. They just can't. It doesn't matter. A master is that much stronger than a freaking awakened. It's just crazy. Now, not all masters and awakens are equal. Some masters are weaker than others. Some saints are weaker than others. But the general guideline is you really don't want to fight a master with just an awakened. Like, if you have a group unawakened and you have an idea of their flaw, aspect, and the way they're at fight and their battle arts, an awakened, but it's really hard to fight these masters because of the power gap. It just gets bigger and bigger every time you go to different classes. You know, that's why there's so little saints. There's only like, I believe it said there was only about 100 saints left. And these saints are like looked at as to like the leaders of the world, you know. Same with masters. Masters are not really that many masters because as soon as people get awakened, they just kind of just like chill in the citadel, and whenever they sleep, they just chill in the citadel, don't really fight, you know, just guard it, and they just wake back up and live in the normal world, you know. I mean, whatever. A lot of people are like actually like focused on getting like stronger. They just want to be safer. So the citadels kind of like, they help the dream world societies, but at the same time they kind of hinder their growth. But yeah, I'm not. I would love to explain domains better, but I really have no clue, man. I'm too. I'm not really that ahead right now. But yeah, more soul cores you have, you can. Soul cores are like the safest kind of safe things to do whenever, like, if you're in a real world and you just be fighting, you know, you can increase your battle arts. You can get certain memories, echoes, and stuff. But the best thing you could possibly do is just increase your soul cores, and that gives you kind of a safer level of power. While the classes are like, you have to challenge a nightmare, you're fucking stuck in there, you either beat it or you're dead. You know, some people are like trapped in their nightmares. There's a whole thing with like Gunlog giving up and just living in the freaking Forgotten Shores. Like, it's just so. No words to say that, man. No words. The reason why Gunlog was even so powerful was because his he got an echo of it, and it was like an armor type echo. There's a whole like thing with like a certain crown of like the first lord of like the Forgotten Shores. And it increases the powers of all memories, and then that's how Neth finally beat Gunlog. It's just, wow, and there's a lot of power systems in this, dude. It's a lot of different little things you can think about. But yeah, for the most part, a master freaking tyrant's pretty strong, pretty strong. But a freaking corrupted or like a great is king above them. They should. A master and a fallen are supposed to be kind of like equal. Master and a corrupted should win, but if they have a group of masters and they have like a lot of knowledge about the creature, they can win as well. It depends on their aspect abilities as well. I know I've been saying it a lot, but like, it's true though. It's really true. Aspect abilities matter so much whenever you're fighting a nightmare creature. And you gotta worry about their aspect abilities too. It's really complicated. I really like this power system, but like, you really gotta think about it. Oh, also, I almost forgot to explain this. Now, certain equipment can give you certain things called soul links. Now, the soul links, from what I understand, granted, I don't understand a lot because it's my first time reading it. So the equipment can is intertwined with your soul. So the memory of it gets destroyed, but you still have access to it through an altitude, and like you can summon it, and it just be like kind of like you don't really summon it. It's like a passive part of you now. So it's more like a passive ability, and you can stack another armor memory on top of it since it's not a memory anymore. It's like you're out just shoot with due to your soul. That's how fuck man. I forgot what it's called. The Mantle of the Underworld. I think that's what Sunny soul linked with. Because he needed like 4,000 victories. So then he had some abilities was lost whenever he soul linked, but overall it was a insanely good thing. Because he kind of like, even if the memories like kind of right here and like and then whenever he like soul linked it, it's like right here now. But then now he can stack his freaking shroud on top of it, so it's still better. So soul link is like you don't have to challenge. I'm pretty sure you don't have to challenge nightmares to get like soul link equipment. It just depends on like the memory and echo, and I'm pretty sure they're rare. Because I've only seen Sunny have one so far. It's not. I don't think I've heard. I don't think I've gone to a part where like a different character got like a soul link equipment yet. But that's also another way you can get stronger without challenging another nightmare. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I apologize if this video was kind of hard to follow. I'm just kind of trying to yap, trying to give you a slightly better understanding from what I understand, which is not a lot. It's like the blind teaching kind of like the blind, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, hopefully you have a slightly better understanding on the power system. I know whenever I wrote this down, I'm like, okay, this kind of, it makes a little sense. It makes a little sense. It makes a little better sense, whatever. To me, anyways. And yeah, hopefully it helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.